let's take a review of how the election was won and lost at the governorship poll, and that after we hear some of the prediction PKO made before the election. Just take a listen.
It's a possibility, but it's a difficult race, given the way I described. And PDP is strong in Plateau State. They've won the presidential election back to back. I see them even winning it again this time because they are strong in that state. And Governor Lalong knows that it's going to be tough. Yobe State is
just as it is
one of
Zamfara yesterday.
Yes, it's one of the states where APC is quite strong, and the PDP has not been able to penetrate. Even their candidates is really not visible in that state. And the influence of Peter Obi in Yobe is non-existent. In Niger State, as we conclude, in Niger State, we have Liman Issa Kantigi from PDP, we have Mohammed Umar Bago from APC, and Joshua Bawa of Labour Party. The PDP candidate has the war chest. Everyone dreads him.
It's a three-horse race.
Yes. Everyone dreads him because of the resources at his disposal.
Okay.
And it's already reflecting, it's galvanizing the PDP in Niger State. Many people are already tipping PDP to do very well now because this guy has come into the race with the resources at his disposal, being a generous person, and they think that this is a race that is very, very keen. It's actually 50-50. I'm not going to give it to APC or PDP. It's 50-50 at this stage. If the APC works harder, maybe they may get it because that's the ruling party in the state. We must tell ourselves the truth. Taraba is essentially a PDP state. Since 1999, they've never failed to win there. And Kefas, because of the PDP, they had crisis too, but they are now together. As for APC, all of those candidates, all of those aspirants, Yusuf, they've refused to work with Boacha. Kente, all of them who went to court against him, they
divided
refused to work.
The
PDP, they are together, and that gives Kefas the edge. I will be
People's Democratic Party.
Yes, that gives him the edge in the governorship election. I want to believe that this time around, with a PDP governor and the Sadu, the House of Assembly election will be much more competitive, because the governor will want to see if his party can control the House, because this last time, APC was in control of the House.
It's a continuation of how APC won 15 states and the People's Democratic Party won 9 states, and factors responsible. Julie, before the election, we predicted some states and some. It was actually, so surprising. For me, the surprise of the season, this is Zamfara State. But because before the election, all the gladiators had already, they were already in APC, and all the people that could give Governor Matawale headache. That's what I thought. Ordinarily, from the face value.
And the presidential election looked like, yes, what we said was what will happen. But we didn't notice that even in the presidential election, APC lost about 6 states or so. APC members defeated APC in Zamfara. It's as simple as that. It's one thing for Yari to agree to work with Matawale. It's another thing for Yari's boys to forgive Matawale and Kabru Marafa. So that is the. I don't want to go beyond.
Okay. Let's start from Yobe. Yobe State is a state that May Malaboni, the man that just that acted as the national chairman of interim ad hoc chairman of the APC, and he lost the presidential election in his own state, and he retained his seat 3 weeks after, Jide, what happened?
Well, that was another shock, because year on year, it's always easy to predict Yobe, one party state and all that. But in the presidential election, Atiku took the state. But in the governorship election, so significantly, I had predicted that APC would take the state in the presidential election. That prediction didn't come to pass. But the governorship election, the prediction came to pass because Maimala Buni dominated the governorship election. All politics, they say, is local. So, having lost the presidential election, the pattern of voting became different. If not because the pattern of voting became different, we will have seen Labour Party win at least 11 states now. But in the end,
The force of the presidential election.
yes, people, sometimes the way people vote, okay, look at Plateau. They said, for the presidential election, we are voting Obi. But for the governorship election, they went back to
the traditional parties.
To their traditional parties. And that's why, even in that one, there were some APC members that voted against Asiwaju, voted for Obi. Christians, you understand? But for the governorship, I want to believe that even those churches that were saying, look, our issue is with the Muslim ticket, don't vote for the APC. For the governorship, you find that sentiment was not there. So the pattern changed. You can see that Maimala Buni scored 317,113, whereas his rival from the PDP scored 104,259, and he won all the 17 local governments. So I want to believe also that the extension helped the APC in some
I wanted to ask Siki that the 3 weeks extension, because when you look at the pattern during the presidential tsunami that happened across the country, and if they had gone ahead 2 weeks after to hold this thing, but it gave some parties leeway. Places like Delta States, they were able to just stage a comeback because for the presidential election, the PDP was nowhere to be found.
Yes, you know what happened. What happened on February 25th was more like a tsunami. Most of the traditional politicians didn't believe what was going to happen. They still believed that it was a two-health race, despite all the predictions that was coming in. Most of the gladiators in the APC and PDP never saw Obi issue coming, despite the predictions. So they went back to their traditional foes and believing, oh, this is between us and APC. And at the end of it, they were shocked. But politics is local. That was at that level. It is a different ballgame when it comes to issue of governorship, because so many things. And that window of opportunity was given them by an extension of 1 more week. That gave them the opportunity to go back and campaign rigorously within their constituency and realize that it's not what they thought. And was able to rally around most of other people that ordinarily would have been just taking, that didn't believe that this was good. So, and that was what happened. For Yobe, I wasn't surprised that
in a lot of people, in a lot of places, I saw politicians kneeling down, crying and begging.
Are you telling me? Yobe,
begging.
Yobe was, I believe that Yobe, I knew that Yobe, if you look at, despite the fact that most of people from Yobe always believe that their governor was an absentee governor. That's what they always said. During the time he was acting chairman of APC,
most of the time in Abuja.
He was always in Abuja, and they were complaining. And I thought that that in itself would have been able to galvanize them into trying to look the other way. But
it's not
never.
Enough. It's not enough.
I'm telling you, it wasn't enough. I was shocked. And as Jide predicted, that happened. They voted for him. The whole 17 local government, they picked it. And picking the 17 local government also means that they picked the whole 17 House of Assembly or all the House of Assembly members within the state. So that is 100% intact. But that may not be said of other states, that because if you look at Gombe also, yes, the governor is coming back.
Did they?
But before this, you realize that also that it was PDP before the Dakwambo was a very, very big factor. If you remember vividly, before this incumbent came in. And for APC to be able to get that, they really tried.
Did it for Taraba State? Governor Darius Ishaku was able to put his successor there.
Yes.
And I visited Taraba State myself, and I saw the governor-elect, and I saw the work Governor Darius Ishaku actually did in Taraba State. There was this main road that enters into Taraba State.
Yes.
Tour carriage, 22 kilometers.
To the airport.
From Bauchi.
I've never seen, 22 kilometers with overhead bridges, with street lights and everything. I said, wow, because the last time I went to Jalingo was like 2013. So I didn't, it was just one road.
Something like
then.
that. And that's the road coming from Yola.
Yes.
And it's a federal road, but he decided to do it, the road was in a decrepit state. He just decided to do it, despite the fact that it's a federal road. As I predicted, that, look, this is a PDP state. What people thought would happen, and that's why these parties have to stay united. Bwacha spent far more time in the law courts than on the soapbox.
APC wasn't in the picture.
Than on the soapbox campaigning. You see, and they took him to court. Many people in the APC, especially people, I would say, the original planters of the APC seed in Taraba, they did not like the coming of Bwacha. They've always seen the party as their party.
If you remember,
this was the first time
they could not campaign there. This is states that the campaign trail could not go there.
Because of the who is the candidate, who is this, so they actually had to stay away. Two times, 2 times our crew went there for the rally, and 2 times they wasted their time.
Yes.
They couldn't carry any.
It's on record that they didn't go there for
yes. Now, because they didn't want Bwacha. And what Bwacha kept telling whoever cared to listen that he will win the election in the state. Now, you cannot win without one arm of the party. And that one arm of the party are our Hausa Fulani friends. They are the ones who voted for this NNPP Prof.
Yes.
That came second.
Yes.
Yes.
It was 400 and the...
Yes, that came second.
It's called more than 200,000.
Yes.
Yes. No, 400. They say 400,000.
Yeah.
Huh?
They say 400,000.
No, I've not seen.
I've seen it. The man that won, Agbu, Captain Agbu, had 430-something thousand. And the NNPP man had 400-something thousand.
NNPP was second. Not even
I know
APC.
NNPP.
NNPP
was a distant third.
Very close.
I know NNPP
APC was a distant third in
Very
that
close.
election.
Check the figure. I'm sure.
NNPC was a distant third in that election.
If our producer can see it, just pull it out. The Taraba results.
And the fact remains also, AY, that during that election, you come to realize that, just as the APC was highly divided. In fact, the chairman seems to favor Bata, the chairman of the party in the state. And he was like, whether you like it or not, quote and unquote, that this is my man. Those that were traditional APC members, we are practically...
Agbu scored 302,614. NNPP candidates scored 202,277.
Okay.
Okay,
202,277.
Okay. And APC.
The NNPP.
Yes, I'm saying the
NNPP was...
He scored 302,614.
Okay.
302,614. Then Prof scored 202,277.
It wasn't close.
That is a margin of more than
100,000.
Yes.
So there's no
almost 150.
So there's no way APC could have gone into that election and win.
He had no time to campaign.
He didn't campaign.
He
up
was
to the last,
going to
the last minute. The Supreme Court, they removed.
Yes.
They put the other person.
In fact, the story that they spread was that APC had no candidate in the election.
Yes.
They were
Yes, at the
spreading
point.
that. Yes, because
At the point.
the situation
point.
was very fluid. Nobody was sure whether he would be allowed to be on
Whether
the
he would be on the
ballot.
ballot or not.
So,
Yes.
you know, so in the end, when you can't sort yourselves out, because you can win in the court, but you have to still be able to reconcile with your people. If you do not reconcile on time, it could be, yes,
It was
you
too
know.
late. It was too late for them to
Look at
confront.
in Niger.
It was.
They had to reconcile the former governor and the senator from that Bogu zone. That's Shabi.
Julie, look at the figure they are giving us here. And Professor Yaya, 202.
Yeah. See, it was close.
Wakefas Agu,
Yes, that's 202,
250. 2,
governorship.
still the same 200,000.
Yes, it's 200, 200. The difference is about 50, about 55.
50.
But this is
I
the
saw-
one that premium
I
times.
saw
Yes.
the result and I was
Like
like,
55.
this is too
It's
close.
just a
And
person
Abacha
about
was the one
50.
that,
Just about
Yes.
55.
This is
1,000.
what premium times posted.
Yeah. So if that is
This is
the case,
what
then
we
it was
use.
close.
this one
It
we
was
used.
close. 200. And I never saw. I
The
never
professor,
saw.
yes,
Yeah.
202,
Yes,
250,
277.
7. That is, if you look at it, maybe
Yeah.
50,000.
But I never knew that Sani Yahaya was going to be that strong.
Oh,
I never
it was
knew.
No, it's one block.
I never
One
knew.
block.
You
the
see
voting
that
block.
it's the Muslim
It was
Yes,
the
the
vote.
Muslim
block.
Not the
block.
Muslim vote.
Oh,
Yes,
They've
all
always voted
voted
APC.
for APC.
They've always voted APC.
That one block.
APC in Taraba had always, I mean, in recent times, APC had presented Muslim candidates. Danladi, you know. So in Taraba, they had presented Muslim candidates. At least the last 2 electoral cycles. So now, this time around, when that case, you know that they took this house of, this senator took Wacha to court. They kept arguing. That's the senator from the north.
No.
There was no time.
You know, they kept arguing who is candidate, who. So at the end of the day, he had no time to really face the battle. You know, there was a question that was put to him that the state government was part of his problems, believing that if he entered the race, he could defeat the PDP candidate. That was the suspicion. I know even that one is not something unusual because we K2 was doing the same thing to APC in 2019 to make sure that APC didn't have
You went into Plateau State. We moved forward into Plateau State at the point time.
Yeah, Plateau State. You know, they've always been. It has always been a PDP state.
Yes.
The reason Governor Lalong won election there was because of the quarrel between the PDP when the former governor, Jonah Jang, unilaterally chose a candidate.
His in-law.
And they said, look, you cannot decide
Yes.
for
So in
him.
2015,
So they decided to
vote
against his candidate. But in the presidential election, they won. 2019, again, in the presidential election, they won.
Article 1.
That is a PDP state. Despite the fact that, Lalong was governor, it's still largely a PDP state. And that was why it was easy for me to say, look, I'm sure that PDP will win this state. It's a PDP state. And that's what happened. They won 11 local governments, while APC won 7. APC won 7. But the interesting thing is, the person who won the election, the PDP candidate, was one of the local government chairmen that Governor Lalong sacked. But he was the one, he was like the face of others, challenging the sack and all that. He sacked them and put caretaker in place. Now, the governor is going to hand over
to the person
to the person that he sacked. You see, in this world, there are so many lessons to learn.
The story will now be like, is this Kwakwanso and
Shekarau. Yes.
The funny part also is that they did not only lose the presidential and governorship, Lalong also lost his senatorial.
Yes. But he won his local government.
He won his local government. But he won his local government. But he still lost his senatorial race. So that shows a total disconnect. The fact is that probably the voters want to go back to their tradition.
No, and I think even popularity is popularity.
Jide, before we go, how does Governor Nyesom Wike, how does he have his way? He seemed to have everything spelled out. In the presidential election, he had an alliance with the All Progressive Congress. He gave them the votes. And for the National Assembly, gave PDP. House of Rep, gave PDP. For governorship election, he went all out. He claimed everything.
If you have the resources at his disposal, will anybody be able to defeat you? The kind of resources that he has. You, if you were to have that kind of resources that Wike has, you will probably be even stronger than him.
The war chest.
That's what we are talking about. The resources that he has, whether in foreign currency or naira, how will you not be able to mobilize people to win an election? Whatever it takes, you will win. Our politics, money still rules our politics. These elections, people were calling me to say, vote buying in Kebbi. They were telling me, serious vote buying in Kebbi. When people are pushed to the wall, they are desperate. They will bring out the money. Even if that person is the most miserly person in the world. He's steering defeat.
There was one state that they were loading 10,000 naira in the carts.
In Ogun State, it's Ogun here.
They were loading 10,000
No,
naira.
it's already preloaded.
No, it was been loaded. Yes.
Preloaded. Ogun State.
Yeah. For Rivers.
Each.
Yes.
Yes, so they'll give you 10,000 that's inside. You take your thing. You can't have that kind of money. Money.
That one, you're not
plays a big
using
part.
cash. You don't need cash for that one.
Which one?
As in, that one, you don't need cash.
And they just give you the
card.
thing, and then they will give you the pin. Everybody can access it. I think it's a general pin also.
Yes.
But that means they also work with the banks.
Of course not, because how will you...
They work with the banks.
How do you get... Anyway, for Rivers, I believe that the 2020 February 25th presidential election was a wake-up call for Wike. The presidential result between the APC candidate and Labour candidate was close. It was close, and we just saw it.
No, it's bound to be close.
No, it was very, very close.
Oh, the
In fact,
Igbo population
yes,
delivers.
it was very, very close that Wike knew if he had already taken the Labour for granted in the presidential, you knew he had to work harder, and probably that was what he did within the 3 years windows.